What's going on, everybody? It is Willym back with another video, and today, since the Andor rant was so successful on the channel, thank you so much for that. I decided to come on here to talk about Disney Star Wars as a whole and how it's kind of shifted what I think about Star Wars and like how much I enjoy Star Wars, and you know, kind of how I used to go from an obsessed fan to this is shit and I don't like it and these don't make sense. So, first off, I know that there's going to be a lot of people who do like Disney Star Wars, like a few series maybe they like, and maybe a few of the sequel movies they like. So obviously, like every single opinion-based video, this is based off my opinion. You guys are more than welcome to have yours. I am not going to attack your opinion. I'm not going to say I don't care about your opinion, but this video is my opinion. But you can leave yours in the comments down below, and I am very responsive to comments, so I'll be sure to respond and acknowledge your 2 cents on the Star Wars Disney property. So I'm just probably gonna go in order of all the different Star Wars, like Disney Star Wars series and shit, and the movies as well. I know I never really made any individual sequel trilogy reviews aside from The Last Jedi, and that was simply because I didn't want to, and the videos would be too long if I made an individual review. So I'm not gonna do full blown reviews in this video. I'm just gonna go and just summarize my thoughts on each and every single thing. The video will probably be long enough anyway. Anyways, I've been talking too long. I'm gonna start off with Star Wars Rebels, the TV show. I have to be honest with you. I have never watched really any episode of Star Wars Rebels aside from, I want to say, 3 episodes. That being Siege of Lothal with Darth Vader attacking Kanan, I think his name is, and then both parts of Twilight of the Apprentice when Darth Maul came back and fought Ahsoka, and Ahsoka fought Darth Vader. Now, why did I watch those 3 episodes? Maybe because people I actually knew and cared about were in those episodes. And that's sort of been my problem with Rebels, is that all that main group of characters I'd never really cared about. You have a blue-haired little boy, right? Kanan, which was probably the only really interesting character in Rebels, with the whole origin story and escaping Order 66 and everything. Bad Batch did a good job with that. Well, I'll get to later. You got some green alien chick who I think is just there to be the mom of the group. Then you got short hair, rainbow hair Mandalorian, which I never really cared for. And then you got big boy, big creature, discount Chewbacca, who looks like if Chewbacca shaved off all his hair and became a dog. And then you got the droid, obviously, who everyone's like, oh my god, it's so cute. So yeah, I never got around to watching really any main episodes of this show because I just never really cared about any of the characters in it. I never really had any real interest aside from, hey, let's see what Darth Vader does in this scene, or hey, let's see what Maul's doing in this episode. And another problem I had with Rebels is that Rebels looks a little too kiddie to me. It is on Disney XD, right? it looks too fucking kiddie for me. Clone Wars kind of had that kiddie aspect, but the CGI was also very good, and even then, the action made you forget about it, about how shitty the animation looks and how kiddie everything looks. Rebels, it's very clear it's fucking kiddie. And from video essays I've seen and from breakdowns that I've seen, there is little to no violence. And if there is, like, any deaths, they're off screen. Now, I know it's bad to say that I'm a viewer who likes to see a lot of deaths in a TV show, but I think that's what a lot of people come to a TV show for, is to see who gets killed off and how. The only people we really see get killed are stormtroopers, and if they are main characters, the deaths are entirely off screen. And also, that's a lie. I have seen some clips. I've seen how Kanan dies. That was a very moving scene for someone who's never watched Rebels. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that scene is very sad, with Kanan dying. But anyways, Rebels, I never got around to watching it. If you guys think it's good, just leave it down in the comments. I'm going to move on to the sequel trilogy, and this is probably going to be the longest, but I'm also going to just breeze through everything. Like, I'm going to move through the sequel trilogy, probably just get it all done and over with. First off, Force Awakens. I never really got to state much of my opinion on The Force Awakens. Definitely the best of the sequels. Definitely better than The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. My only problem was most of the plot points seemed to be a copy of A New Hope. It seemed like they didn't know what they were doing, so they're like, let's tell the story again. You know, put important information on a droid, big planet-killing weapon, main protagonist lives in the desert, something happens to get them off the planet, meets an old person who moves the story, that old person dies, and, you know, big bad guy beats someone from the past, and big planet killing weapon gets blown up. And I might have forgotten a few plot points because I've not seen The Force Awakens in a long time. Do I really have much issues aside from that? Some parts are a little boring, some parts are long. I did like Finn's story arc in this movie. It seemed like they were really building up Finn in The Force Awakens, which we'll get to later. Finn became an absolute joke. So Force Awakens, I mean, alright. I don't have much thought on The Force Awakens. So let's get to Last Jedi. I've talked about Last Jedi, I think, like 3 or 4 times on this channel. It's bad. It's really bad. I don't even know where to begin talking about The Last Jedi. Let's talk about Luke Skywalker's character got fucking murdered. He went from farm boy hero to I hate you and I don't want to see you again. Right? Luke's death was one of the most what the fuck scenes of all time, out of any movie I have ever seen. Like, if you weren't going to have him there, why have him in the movie? You have to have a force apparition and he dies because force magic's too hard. I hated how the ship battle was too long. It was like one ship and another ship just pew pew. I hated that. What else did I hate? A lot. The whole Casino Planet subplot was unneeded and unnecessary. Finn's character got absolutely murdered. He turned into comic relief and turned into a joke. When he was going to have a heroic moment by sacrificing himself, big old Rose freaking crashes into him for some reason. Yeah. This was also the movie where the political points were also very clear. Very, very clear. First off with Admiral Purple Hair. Oh, you're a flyboy. I've dealt with your type before. I don't like men, and I am a woman, so you listen to me, you motherfucker. It was very clear, the whole feminist standpoint. And then, of course, the animal slavery and rich people are bad. It was like, we get it, Disney. Like, why the fuck should we care? We're here to watch a movie and we're here to watch a story. Not to come out of the movie being like, men are bad. Rich people are also bad. Women, good. You know? Not saying women aren't good. But, you know, this movie was like very, very bad. Ray, Mary Sue as fuck, which we'll get to very, very soon. She doesn't earn anything, and that's my whole problem as well. The female characters are always strong, and the men turn into jokes, right? Not saying every man has to be the big hero, but if you're going to have protagonists in your film, can you have them be taken seriously? I swear, Chewbacca, Poe, Finn, Luke, they all resolved to being jokes. Kylo even. I did like Snoke's death, even though it kind of didn't make much sense. Yeah. I don't even know what the fuck else to talk about this movie. Yeah. Last Jedi is just bad. You know it. I know it. The American people know it. So I'm just going to move on to Rise of Skywalker. This, I wouldn't call it worse than The Rise of Skywalker, but most of the problems are more apparent in this movie. Like I said before, Rey, Mary Sue as fuck, doesn't earn anything. She is a god within a year of being a Jedi. It took Luke 3 years. It took Anakin 10 years. Palpatine's back, and we're supposed to be like, all right, there. He's back. Cool. I guess we'll believe that. There's like, the plot is very confusing as well. You gotta get a muffin to go to a planet, and then Palpy's back, and then the rebels gotta get a dagger to get to the Death Star, but they can't get to the Death Star because C-3PO can't reach it, so they gotta go to a black market droid smith so we can get a cute character, and then we go to the Death Star, and then we grab the freaking muffin, but Kylo Ren breaks it, so we gotta steal his ship, and then we gotta go to the Emperor, whatever. This was also where they try to explain how Rey is like very fucking powerful, being like, yo, you're Palpy's granddaughter, even though the Force skipped his son for some reason. Like I said before, the men are fucking second fiddle. Finn doesn't do nothing. Poe barely does nothing. Poe's apparently a spice runner now, even though in like some of the books it's like, hey, his mother and father were like rebel pilots and he joined the Rebel Academy at a young age, but nope. Man's a drug dealer. Some plot conveniences are very, very, very out of the blue, just so they could be like, hey, you're lucky there, rebels. They turned Kylo good out of nowhere. I mean, I guess people really thought Adam Driver really needed to be the good guy, since, you know, Palpatine's in the movie. Palpatine did barely anything. Big action scenes. I mean, I love big action scenes, but when they don't make sense, and then I don't like it. Like the part where they're in the space battle and the Star Destroyers can't go up and leave the atmosphere because there's like a little tower that navigates it, and it's like, what the fuck? Just go up. You don't need a tower. And then, yeah. I don't know, man. And Rey Skywalker, everyone could just state their opinions. I didn't like it. I think it was like a groan-worthy moment. Like, I don't know, man. Rey as a character was just so fucking terrible. What else can we talk about? Leia was a Jedi. But she was like, no. Oh, I didn't even talk about this. The original trilogy characters got murdered. They died in the worst possible way. Han got freaking stabbed. Luke and Leia both died by the Force. Because using Force powers are so hard, right? So anyway, yeah, that's my thoughts on the sequel trilogy. At least my quick thoughts. Political propaganda is very fucking bad in these movies. I don't fucking get it. Especially The Last Jedi, it was very fucking bad. Female characters all good. Men characters suck. Rich people are bad. Yeah. You like the original characters? Screw you. We're gonna go for our main characters. Even then, our main characters are gonna be jokes besides the big old Rey. But yeah, it is what it is. So let's talk now about Rogue One, the sequel to Andor, right? When I first saw Rogue One, I didn't care too much for it. I didn't care too much for Rogue One. The characters I didn't care for. The protagonists were big old evil. Darth Vader was in the movie, which I thought was the only good thing at the time. Looking back at the movie, I think it was visually stunning. You knew who the comic relief characters were and who weren't. I liked the big Asian guy who believes in the Force. Jyn Erso is a pretty good protagonist. It wasn't like she's given everything. She's been built up to be this big old criminal who solves problems from like 8 years old. So it wasn't like, hey, I'm strong and you all suck. The male characters were good in this movie. The man with the machine gun was good. Andor was good in this movie, even though in his show, I don't even know what to even say. I don't even know why people even wanted Andor to even have a show. What else? It showed how they got the Death Star plans, which I thought was pretty good. And of course, the Darth Vader hallway scene. What more can't you love? So, do I have much of a problem with Rogue One as much as the others? No, I would have to say I don't. Aside from it was boring on my first viewing, but when I watched it again, I cared for it way more than any of the other Disney properties, aside from The Mandalorian and Kenobi, of course. But yeah, would I watch Andor again because I liked Rogue One after the second viewing? No, too fucking boring, Andor. I'm not even going to talk about Andor in this video. I already made a separate video on it. What's next? Solo, a Star Wars story. Solo, a Star Wars story. It was meh. Like, I hated how Han Solo, like, Solo's not his real last name. It was, like, given to him in, like, a terminal? I liked how Crimson Dawn is built up in this movie, how Darth Maul's criminal empire is built up and is the main villain in this. Woody Harrelson is good as ever. So, if I like Woody Harrelson and I think some of the visuals are good, what didn't I like? Well, it was boring as shit. Aside from the beginning where they had that big chase, and aside from the end where Han and what's-her-face, that Game of Thrones lady plays, Kira, fights Dryden Voss, I did not care about this movie. It was boring. I was really not that interested throughout the whole thing, aside from the fact that I thought it was cool that Crimson Dawn was the main villain. It didn't change my thoughts and opinions on this movie at all. Cool, you got to see how Han met Chewie and how his last name was given to him. How does that make sense? So, Solo is meh for me. I don't freaking know what else to say. I can't really talk about it that much without, I honestly forget what the plot is in this movie. So, oh, my computer screen. There we go. Anyways, guys, what's next that we have yet to talk about? I will go and talk about... Oh, man, I don't even know. Mandalorian. Mandalorian, the big show that everybody likes, that everybody cares about. Mandalorian. At first I thought it was boring as shit. I wasn't interested in a little man wearing a Boba Fett suit just shooting people and taking bounties and shit. Oh my god, there's a baby Yoda. Holy shit. Like, that makes me care about the show now because there's a baby Yoda. But then when I actually got around to watching the show, I thought it was good. I thought it was very good. Like, I've seen people be like, Star Wars needs Jedis in their show, and they don't. But I liked how Mandalorian felt like Star Wars in this show. I liked how a character without a face, like, you can make them care about a character without a face, and it's clear how his emotions are. The acting is amazing. You can't go wrong with the actor who plays Gustavo Fring as the main villain. I would say the actor's real name, but I can't fucking pronounce it. I liked how there are some characters that come back, like Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, Luke Skywalker, all those people. Boba Fett, even. They showed the return of Boba Fett, which I thought was well done. They made Boba Fett look like a real threat in The Mandalorian. Now, as Boba Fett's own show, that remains a topic of another discussion. Bill Burr was in this show, which, I mean, I'm a fan of Bill Burr, so maybe that's just bias on my part. Mandalorian was pretty well done. What would I say that I didn't like? Maybe it was overhyped. I think that was why I never got around to watching it. It was overhyped and all over a baby Yoda, which is meh for me. So, yeah, I guess The Mandalorian, I guess I'm done talking about that. I don't really have that much to say. Mandalorian is probably the best Disney Star Wars property they've ever done. I think that goes without saying, though. So, yeah, we'll talk about now the Clone Wars Season 7. Very well done. They introduced the Bad Batch, which I think was all right. The whole Martinez sister, or Martez, whatever, I didn't care about. They're so annoying, and I don't even want to deal with them. Ahsoka comes back, and Ahsoka versus Maul, very well done. I heard they had real motion stunt people. The person who did Maul's stunts in episode 1 was back, and that was very well done. I loved how Revenge of the Sith tied into the final season of the Clone Wars. I thought it was very well done. Like Obi-Wan telling Ahsoka Anakin's gone to meet up with the Chancellor. Order 66. That Order 66 scene in episode 7 in season 7 was so well done with Rex and Ahsoka, and the emotions ran high. That season finale as well, with Rex, Ahsoka escaping the clones, and it was very emotional. Vader coming back, finding Ahsoka's lightsaber. It was bliss. I loved it. Not the best, though, because of the Martez sisters arc. That's really my only complaint with the Clone Wars Season 7. I thought it was very well done. Revenge of the Sith tie-ins. Maybe that's my personal bias. I love Revenge of the Sith. Bad Batch introducing new characters. That's alright. So yeah, that's Clone Wars. What's next? We'll go Bad Batch now. Bad Batch, did they deserve their own show? I don't think so. I liked how how in this show it was how the Empire renders clone troopers obsolete now. The kid Omega, I think is annoying. How every plot point is her being like, Hunter, we have to help them. We got to help them, Hunter, or something like that. Like every single episode, it's Omega wanting to help somebody. She gets told to stay with the ship. She does not. And then parenting. It's like they saw The Mandalorian once and was like, instead of having one person babysit a kid, let's have a whole group of people babysit a kid. I liked Crosshair in this series, though, how he turned into a bad guy, and now they're trying to get Crosshair to come back into the Bad Batch. But he's like, nah, man, good soldiers follow orders. I like the beginning where they showed a Kanan origin story in the Bad Batch and how his master died and how the Bad Batch tried convincing Kanan that they are good. I thought that was all right. Aside from that, not my favorite TV series, but a lot better than most. That's all I got to say about that. Next, we'll go to the Book of Boba Fett. Now, these recent Star Wars shows I have seen. Well, I have seen the Bad Batch, but I remember more from the Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi, so I'm going to go over those right now. This video is getting very long anyways. So the Book of Boba Fett, I didn't like it. It's called the Book of Boba Fett, but Boba Fett's barely in it, and when he is, he looks like a total bitch. It's like after The Mandalorian, he's off the steroids. He's getting his ass kicked every single scene. He needs Fennec Shand or the frickin' Power Rangers to save him. I liked how they tried making the Tusken Raiders look good. How they tried having Boba Fett and the Tusken Raiders in the same tribe. I like the little flashbacks in between. I think it was the first 4 episodes. It goes from flashback to present day. Let's see. Sometimes the flashbacks can be pretty boring and pretty long. Sometimes the present day things can be very boring. And my biggest problem with this series is that The Mandalorian took over the series in the halfway point. He comes back, and a whole episode's about just him, about the Mandalorian. And then the next episode, Boba Fett's only in one scene, doesn't say anything. And then the next 2, it's kind of about Boba. But, I mean, everyone's just so focused on the Mandalorian and Grogu afterwards. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Another whole episode's about freaking Luke Skywalker and Grogu. It's not the Book of Boba Fett. It's the Mandalorian Season 3. Like, it's confusing. And I think that's everyone's big problem. Otherwise, if this was Mandalorian Season 3, it's a good season. But it's not. It's supposed to be Boba Fett's show, and it's not. Like, the first 2 episodes, maybe. The other ones, it's about Tatooine and the Mandalorian. Hooray. Cad Bane makes his live-action debut, but then it's instantly irrelevant since Cad Bane dies in the next episode anyway. The finale was alright. I mean, a little long, but what you gonna do? Grogu, they need to make money, so he's back. Boba Fett was honestly pretty bad in my opinion. It was pretty boring. I was very intrigued in the first few episodes, and then when The Mandalorian took over, I was like, fuck this. But I also want to know how it goes, so I ended up watching all the series, and it wasn't very good. Boba Fett looked weak. He didn't even kill the main villains after. He killed Cad Bane, but he didn't kill the people who was invading his territory. Fennec Shand did that. Strong woman. So yeah, Boba Fett was not very good. Now we go to Kenobi, and I think that's the last Disney Plus Star Wars property that I know of right now. Let's go to Kenobi. Kenobi I thought was pretty good, in my personal opinion. I didn't like how they tried going the Luke Skywalker route in the first 2 episodes, where Obi-Wan's like, I don't want to do anything because my Padawan went bad and all that. I liked how they had a focus on Leia, but sometimes there's like too much focus on Leia to the point where it's like, okay, let's get to Obi-Wan, please. I liked the flashbacks with Anakin Skywalker. I loved having Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen back for a Star Wars show. The villains, Grand Inquisitor was wasted. He's barely in the show, and in the trailers he was booked to be the main villain. The main villain, of course, is Reva, the Moses Ingram. Gotta have the woman. Gotta have the woman be the main focus, even though it's a Kenobi show. I'm joking, okay? Reva has a past, and she gets stabbed by Anakin Skywalker in Order 66, but she doesn't die because revenge. Okay. What else can we talk about? Like most Disney Star Wars things, it was visually stunning. I loved it. You had Jimmy Smits back as Bail Organa. Sometimes Vader's too much like a god, but I think that's what they were going for. Like I said, with the sequel trilogy, plot conveniences are just there over and over again. If there is a new interesting character in the show, they die immediately after. The finale was good. I liked the final duel between Obi-Wan and Vader, and how Uncle Owen and Amber Rue fought off Reva. Luke, I don't know who the hell the actor who played Luke, but it didn't look like a good Luke. Leia was very fucking funny in that show, though. References, I loved them. Obi-Wan, I liked how it didn't start off with him being a Force god. It took him a while to get his Force powers back and his confidence back. Of course, Hayden Christensen, whenever he's on screen, I loved it. The Clone Wars flashback back in Episode 5 was very good. And yeah, I mean, Obi-Wan's overhated. I would get some of their points on why they don't like it, but for me, it's meh. It's meh. I don't really care too much about the hate. So yeah, Kenobi's good. So what do I consider the best, and what do I consider the worst Disney product? I say the best is definitely The Mandalorian, due to good, interesting new characters and putting a bit of old characters in there. Character development, very, very good. Good cinematography, good structure, good pacing. Gets people to want to come back, and everything in between. So I think Mandalorian's the best. What do I think is the worst? It's between Last Jedi and Book of Boba Fett. That's what I think. Is around there, and Andor is too recent for me to really say it's the worst. But I am not watching the rest of Andor unless I want to. When the series is over, but as of right now, I'm not watching Andor. So what are my problems with Disney Star Wars then? I praised most or some of the Disney product. What I don't like is that most of the shows are about characters we don't care or know. They care so much about comic relief, cute characters, and or propaganda and political agendas that we don't care about. And they're overhyped as fuck, so we think it's good, but it's not. And I don't know who the script writers are, but they're very shit at their jobs. Someone in college can be able to do better storylines than that, especially the sequel trilogy. And they sit there on their high horse being like, why is everyone hating it? Let's talk about their actors. Sure, they'll treat people like Daisy Ridley good and all that. John Boyega exposed Disney, man. John Boyega, who plays Finn. I feel so bad for Finn's character, man. He was built up as hell in The Force Awakens, and then he's wasted. Anyways, guys, that's my thoughts on Disney Star Wars as a whole. This video is very fucking long, 35 minutes over. I didn't think about that. Thank you for the support on the Andor video. It got over 200 views in 3 days. That is very good from my channel standards. I will try to be more active on the main channel, but while also trying to upload on my second channel, Willie Does Wrestling. I think the link will be in the description below. It will be on the video card on the screen. I don't know. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for the recent support. Be sure to like, subscribe, turn post notifications on, do whatever it is you do. If you want more videos and you want to leave a video suggestion, leave it down in the comments as well. Again, this video has been all my opinion. If you have an opinion on any of these shows I've talked about or movies, be sure to leave it down in the comments. And with that being said, guys, this has been your boy, Will YM. I will see you in the next video. Be good, people, and peace.